Hey, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. My name is Salvador Briggman, and on this show, we talk about everything when it comes to crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, equity crowdfunding. We really try to bring on real-world examples and success stories that you can model. Success stories, people that are out there kicking ass, taking names, and really are achieving their dreams. So many of the people that we've had on, you can go listen to their episodes, and I invite you to do that right after today's short episode, is so many of these people have come together and just really shared their story on this podcast. I think it's incredible. I think it's amazing that we can have these kinds of conversations and you can be a fly on the wall, hearing exactly what works when it comes to running a successful campaign, getting a product out there into the world, literally going from idea, just a concept in someone's mind, to being a sketch on a napkin, and then to really existing in the real world. Or in the case of a board game, people being able to play and have memories and have adventures with that actual game. It's a physical product. You being able to actually impact someone else's life. And this product is in their home, right? This is something that they're using maybe even every day of their life to achieve something, to accomplish something, to solve a problem. It's one of the coolest, I always call it an art form. I know that sounds a little bit woo-woo, right? The fact that creating a new product is an art form, but I certainly see it that way because you think about it, you look around wherever you are, maybe you're, in your house doing laundry or doing the dishes, or maybe you're out on a run, maybe you're listening when you're walking, even on the side street or something like that. You look around, everything around you, this entire society, this entire, whatever you want to call it, city, wherever you are, even your home, this is made up of a bunch of little products. Take a second to think about that. Literally around you, whether it's a desk, a chair, light fixtures, if you think about even your phone in your pocket, all of these things were created by other people. Think about that for a second. That's insane. So one of the coolest things about, I think, this year is that if you've ever wanted to get a product out there, if you've ever had the idea to maybe someday be able to have other people around the world using your product every single day, to have it actually arrive on their doorstep in a package that they open up, they have the whole, really cool looking packaging, hopefully, and maybe some stuffing, and they open that up and they get to see this thing, they get to use it, get to post on Instagram. I think that this year is really the best year to actually come out with something new. And the reason why I'm saying that is that so many different forces have just aligned to make it just super easy. So first of all, obviously you have those platforms that are out there like Kickstarter, like Indiegogo, and we are documenting this, guys, literally every day, seeing success on these platforms and the ways that these communities are continuing to grow. It is phenomenal. But in addition, there are even other platforms out there when it comes to things like equity crowdfunding and bringing a whole new business, a whole new startup into the world. Something I've been talking about literally since 2012, and how this is going to redefine, I think, the way that new products come out and that companies are funded. So first of all, I would say that you have it the easiest time in history to raise money. That used to be one of the big objections, man. That used to be one of the big things that was holding people back. It's like, hey, man, I don't know how to get the money. I don't know how to get the capital. Well, you have the exact answer now when it comes to crowdfunding, right? So you can either go to the crowd and fund this prototype, fund the mass production of this physical product, or in the case of equity crowdfunding, you can go to the crowd and actually get investors in your business who are also evangelists for your brand and probably end users as well. There's nothing holding you back when it comes to that. Now, I have other people like, oh, Sal, there are supply chain issues. Got to figure out materials costs. I got to figure out how to get this thing manufactured. I got to figure out how to turn this idea into maybe a sketch and then get that sketch made somehow. There's just so many pieces of the puzzle. It's just overwhelming. And kind of what I want to say to that is, I agree with you. Any kind of major process in your life can be a little bit overwhelming and can feel overwhelming. But literally every single coaching call, I guarantee you, it's like 80% of them, I asked the individual, so do you feel like you could have done this at an earlier point in your life? And the answer almost unequivocally is yes. The only thing that's usually holding someone back is that fear. Thinking about the future and just having a fear, like, oh, I don't know, I'm worried. What if it doesn't go right? What if this doesn't happen? This is why we create budgets. This is why I try to put together educational resources like the Kickstarter launch formula, the book that I have on Audible, the book that I have on Amazon, why I put together free courses, and I'll mention a link for that in just a little bit. This is exactly why I put together this content, is to make it so that it's not so intimidating. So you actually know the road ahead. And when you know that road ahead, all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's a little bit scary, but I feel like I could actually maybe make some progress on this. And you know what? I'm listening to all these other podcasts and shows on Sal's podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified, and a lot of these people actually, it was their first product. And now look at this. They're doing their fourth campaign or their fifth campaign or their sixth one. And it almost becomes a little bit more real when you hear people like that are taking action, that are kicking ass, that are smashing their goal. And they didn't have anything together either. It was almost like for them, like they were kind of leaping off this cliff and trying to just assemble their plane on the way down. And because of sheer tenacity and will and passion and focus, being willing to ante up, right? If you're entering a game of poker, you obviously got to buy in. You got to ante up. You got to have a budget. And being willing to do that gets you in the game. Is it scary? Yes. But I've never heard of a game, for example, or a sport like boxing where you can win without being in the ring. You got to get into the ring. You got to have a little bit of risk, a little bit of skin in the game if you ever want to stand a chance of winning that trophy. And that trophy might be very different for you than someone else. I mean, you hear people, for example, raising millions of dollars. You're like, I don't even want to go anywhere near that. I just want to raise like 100K. If I got to 300K, that would be amazing. Or you know what? You maybe even like, I don't even want to raise 50K or 40K or 30K. And I'm doing a creative project or something like that. There are so many examples that I've tried to cover on this show this past year that to help you just kind of guide you along that process and what can work for you. And that's really the main thing that I've been trying to do. If you're worried about the fulfillment and shipping part of your Kickstarter campaign when it comes to getting out all those perks and rewards to your backers, rest assured, I've put together a complete Kickstarter fulfillment and shipping checklist for you, and it's free. This is sponsored by the folks at Fulfillrite, and they thought that you should have this checklist as part of your arsenal going into a crowdfunding campaign. If you want to get instant access to this checklist and it's free, you can go to fulfillrite.com/checklist. Again, that is fulfillrite.com/checklist. fulfillrite.com/checklist. Just go to that link and you can download it immediately. With this show, if anything is holding you back, I think that, and I'm going to just kind of go out on a limb saying this, and I really don't want to offend you, but I frankly think that nowadays, the number one thing that's holding most people back is themselves when it comes to that fear, when it comes to that not being willing to take action, when it comes to just having your mind going down that negative chute where it's like, I think of every possible thing that could go wrong. Well, my friends, what if things actually went right? What if actually you solved those problems as you went down this path? What if you actually put in the work to find a manufacturer, to get those CAD designs and CAD drawings of your sketch, or even getting someone to help you with that sketch? What would that look like? What if you actually had a budget that enabled those things to happen? Or if you did it yourself? What if you actually got an initial prototype made, a working prototype? How would that change the game if you could actually hold this product in your hands and show it to other people? Do you think that would get other people interested in it? Heck yes. You're going to get the interest of those types of people. And maybe you decide, you know what, I don't want to go, Sal's crazy path of going down crowdfunding route or Kickstarter. Instead, maybe I want to license this. Or instead, I'm going to try to do it on my own and just not even do crowdfunding. Or I want to do this. I want to go wholesaling. I want to sell a bunch of these to many different retail outlets around the world. Guess what? In order to go through any of those paths, the number one thing you got to do is you got to make a prototype. You got to get great photos of that prototype. You ideally got to get some video of that prototype. That honestly, if you think about in the olden days when you're applying to a job, what matters most? It's your resume, right? Or you got some letters at the end of your name, like PhD or MD. What is the currency? What is really the, certificate that entrepreneurs have? What is their credibility? Well, I mean, maybe consider yourself a creator. Maybe you consider yourself an entrepreneur. Maybe you consider yourself an inventor. But the currency is like, do you actually have a prototype? Do you actually have photos, even photorealistic renderings? Do you have a video? Do you have something you could show someone else that's going to allow them to get excited as you are about this vision? Because otherwise, let's be honest, you're just a dreamer, my friends. And there's nothing wrong with being a dreamer. There are many areas in my life, my friend, where I am a dreamer, where I'm just not taking much action as I think. I think I'm going to be getting a six-pack, but I'm like, am I actually going to the gym that much? Yeah, probably not. Am I actually eating healthy? I guess not as much as I should if I really wanted a six-pack. So there are definitely things we can dream and aspire to. And sometimes we're just not in the position to take action. But if this is an area when it comes to a new product, when it comes to starting a new business, a new e-commerce venture, a new brand, wanting to really level up in this area of your life, if this is something that you're serious about, and maybe it's even beyond the potential funding and money and revenue that you could generate, it's really just the impact that you want to make on other people in this industry. If this is something that you are serious about, I want you to make a commitment. I want you to make a commitment to just get one or two steps down the road from where you are right now. So if you're just on an idea, you got to start with the sketching. And I want you to make that serious. I want you to accomplish that this year. If you or have sketches, I want you to get to, okay, now we need to get CAD drawing. Now we need to maybe get some photorealistic renderings. We need to get a prototype going. I want you to think about that. And if you're in that prototype stage, you need to then start to get some photos and some videos of that. And things get super exciting then because then other people like me can work with you. We can see what you're doing. We can see it has potential, maybe the germ of something that could be a very fruitful, high growing tree. And we're like, you know what? This actually has merit to it. I think this is something that's really important. I just kind of want to make a quick podcast to kind of encourage you on that path. And you might not even need encouragement, but it's always great to just hear that this is something that is possible. This is something that's happening. You're hearing it every single week from me, the successful funding stories. This is something that is growing. It is not going away. And I do think that this year is literally one of the best times in human history to get started because it is so freaking easy. And the only thing that's holding you back is yourself. So if you want to get started, I'm going to give you a couple links to kind of begin here. So the first is that if you're just like a newbie and you don't really know much about crowdfunding, go and check out my free course on Kickstarter. You can check that out at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. That is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. If you're a little bit more aware, I'd say, and you're really ready to kind of study this, and you kind of do have to be a student of the game, right? No matter what you're trying to do, you got to be a student of the game. I'm a student of so many different games and at different areas in my life and career as well. So you got to be a student of the game. And if you're ready to kind of take that role and that position, I got another great resource for you, which is the Kickstarter launch formula. So I got an audible version of this book, which you can check out at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That link is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. So you can go there and you can download my audible version of my book, or you can look it up on Amazon, the Kickstarter launch formula. Great place to get started, and a lot of the really foundational principles, strategies, and tactics that are proven to work to get you funding. Now, the final link that I'm going to mention is really for you if you are serious, man. If you're like, I definitely want to do this year, this is important to me, and I want to find out exactly from my unique case what I got to do to be successful. If you fall into that category and you're ready to pull the trigger on this and you're just kind of looking for the pieces to be assembled a little bit more neatly and also maybe even some help when it comes to the execution, et cetera, you should book a one-on-one coaching call with me and we can get all of those questions and strategies squared away ASAP. So if you're interested in that, you can go to this link I'm about to mention. You can fill out the form there and you can get this scheduled. The link is crowdcrux.com/coaching. crowdcrux.com/coaching. Again, that link is crowdcrux.com/coaching. These are filling up very quickly. It's really important that you also take action on the things that I recommend. I've saved people so much money when it comes to things that they were planning on doing that weren't right, or using different tools, and also illuminating different strategies that led to thousands and thousands of dollars in funding in many successful campaigns, and obviously also helping directly when it comes to projects also. So that's my final link for you. But man, if nothing else, thank you so much for your time and attention. And I hope that I can continue to serve you this year in bringing you valuable content that's meant to help you be actionable and also inspire you just a tiny bit. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And I will see you next time.